Mutant Nation, welcome to Mutant Meals. I'm your host, Big Ron Partlow, and today I got a topic that everybody asks me about, everybody always wants to know about cheat meals. Now, to some people, cheat meals is a dirty word, and to other people, it's all too common of a word. So I'm gonna try to explain to you guys how real bodybuilders actually use cheat meals to enhance their bodybuilding. Now, everyone's got different tastes as to what they like for their cheat meals. Everyone's kind of got a different way that they like to do it. I'm just going to tell you from my own experience and the hundreds of clients that I've helped what I think works best. Now, it does depend on your body type, whether you're an ectomorph or an endomorph, what you can get away with cheat meals and what's actually going to help you. Myself, I've learned what works best for me. I find that when I'm dieting for a contest, it works best when I diet really hard. And then when I have a cheat meal, I go hard on the cheat meal. One meal, a lot of calories, a lot of carbs, a lot of fats in there too. People don't realize that fats have an effect on forming of glycogen. Carbs and fats together can enhance muscle fullness, especially in a big guy. You know, if you're a 150-pound bantamweight, you don't need the calories to fill out in most cases that a 300-pound bodybuilder needs. So I diet hard. And when I have a cheat meal, I go hard on the cheat meal. You gotta eat big to get big, and sometimes you gotta eat big to get shredded. I know it sounds funny to people, and a lot of people don't understand why, but here's why. When you diet hard and you pull your body weight down like I do, your metabolism makes an adjustment. And your body doesn't wanna do that forever. So it starts to slow down. Your body alters its hormones, your body alters its energy usage, and it starts to burn fewer calories. Now, when you introduce a cheat meal at the right time, you can spike your metabolism and you can enhance your calorie burning effect. And I know this works for me because when I have a cheat meal and I do it right, I'm actually far hungrier for a few days afterwards because my metabolism's cranking. I'm bigger, fuller, look better, perform better in the gym, mentally more focused, and I drop weight again really fast. It's very common for me to, let's just say I'm at a certain stage of my diet, let's say I'm 270 in the morning, and I have my cheat meal, and the next day I'm 276 in the morning. So I put on 6 pounds with one big meal. By the end of the week, it's very common for me to be 268 and a half. So now I'm 1.5 pounds lighter than I was before I had the week's previous cheat meal. That is when you know that you're using it properly. If the following week you're 3 pounds heavier than you were before your cheat meal, then you know you don't need one. Your body isn't depleted enough yet, you're not flat enough, you don't know your body well enough. Of course, that's where a good coach comes in. Well, let's get to business. Let's get to today's cheat meal. I'm 3 weeks out from the North Americans. I've been dieting really hard. I've been training twice a day. I've been doing sprint interval cardio. And this trip at the Mutant Mansion with all the filming we've been doing, I haven't been getting much sleep. I've been up early. My meals have been kind of stretched out. And I am depleted. I feel a little bit weak. I feel really tired. I was kind of weak in the gym yesterday when I trained. I didn't have the strength I normally have. And even though I'm getting great pumps because I'm hydrated well, my pumps are going away really quickly. After I did chest yesterday, I was a few sets into triceps and I had no pump left in my chest. So I know I'm flat. I know that my body's gonna take this and do the right thing with it. Now I've chosen a pizza. It's not always a pizza, but a pizza is one of my favorite things to use. Now, I'll usually go out when I'm at home to one of my favorite restaurants. I'll call up some friends or whatever. But here at the Mutant Mansion, I'm pretty relaxed. I don't really feel like driving around this strange city trying to find somewhere to eat. So I grabbed this pizza at Costco when we went shopping, and I'm gonna show you guys what I'm gonna do with it. Now, today's also my quad workout. So the optimal time for me to eat this is around the quad workout. So I'm gonna have several slices before I go train. And then after my workout, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna have several more slices. Now, this is a pepperoni pizza. Now, I really like pepperoni pizza. It's not my favorite, but one of the things I'm gonna do to this to make it more of a bodybuilder meal is I'm gonna add some protein to it. So I'm gonna add chicken and steak to this pizza and make it much higher protein, much more of a, muscle meal, as I guess you could say, a mutant meal. So let me just open this up. Now the pepperoni's kind of scattered around. I'm sure this happens when they ship it. So I'm just gonna kind of fix it up here. In fact, I don't even want all of the pepperoni on there. So I'll even pull some of it off. You know, I'm not a huge processed meat guy, but I do like a treat now and then. So I'm gonna throw this pepperoni around a little bit, take a few of them off. You know, even though it's a cheat meal, I still like it a certain way. You know, I'm not the type of guy that goes all out and just eats total crap on my cheat meals. I see some people, you know, eating bags of McDonald's and bags of processed food and, you know, those cakes from the frozen food aisle and stuff like that. That's not my style on a cheat meal. If I'm gonna have a cake, I wanna have a nice piece of cake at a restaurant or something that's, you know, made with better ingredients, right? So let me take some of this pepperoni off here. There, that's sort of my style. Not a whole lot. Just move it around. There. Okay. That's a little bit more reasonable. I just cut the calories by about 1,000 by pulling this pepperoni off, but it's gonna work for me. Let me grab this. Now I've got the oven preheated here. I'm just following the instructions on the box. I actually prefer to make my own pizza or go to a gourmet pizza place. I don't like to order, you know, the traditional pizzas that, you know, most people order. They're not made with very good quality ingredients. I'm gonna pop this in here. There we go. We gotta check the clock. We have 15 minutes. I'm sure the crew will let me know they don't want to wreck my meal. So now I've already prepared some steak and some chicken. We got some sirloin tip here. And I just grilled this up. And it's cooked medium rare. Might be a little bit overcooked, but it ain't gonna matter with all the cheese on there. It's gonna be good. So I'm just gonna cut it into little strips. Now the pizza says to cook for 15 minutes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it cook for 10 minutes. And then I'm gonna pull it out and I'm gonna drop all this meat into the melted cheese. And then it's gonna, you know, put it back in the oven and it'll kind of cook into the pizza. That's how I like to do it. Now you could throw the meat on raw and see if you get a good result, but you know, sometimes if you don't know the oven very well or you haven't made that particular pizza before, the crust is done before the meat is cooked, so you don't want that either, right? So that's why I pre-cooked this. I'm just gonna chop it up here. Now, the reason why I'm gonna bookend my workout with this pizza is because when you have your highest calorie meal of the day around your workout, especially something like quads, which is a big day for me. I do a lot of sets, a lot of volume, supersetting, high reps, giant sets, really trying to blast the legs. There's an enormous metabolic demand. So nothing that I eat on quad day can possibly be turned to fat. That's the number one thing. If you don't train hard enough, you can't say that. So you have to make sure that you're putting an enormous amount of effort into your workout. So I'm gonna eat some of this before I train. It won't upset my stomach. I'll have it an hour before I train. I'll be fine. I'm really hungry. I'm digesting food very fast. In the off season, I might not have a big heavy meal like this pre-training, but pre-contest, it gets in pretty quick. The body doesn't mess around. So I'm just gonna shred up this chicken breast here. This smells good on its own. I could just eat this like a meal. And then when I'm done training, I'm just gonna throw down 50 grams of mutant whey so I get some protein into my system. And by the time I drive back here, I'll be ready to eat. And I can finish off the pizza. Of course, I might not eat that whole thing. I'm in a house full of mutants, so I'm probably gonna have to share a few pieces of that. And then I might have a little bit of something else too. I mean, the other guys, they've got a little bit of junk laying around the house for some treats. So, you know, my cheat meal it'll be fun. It won't just be the pizza, but that's the center of the meal today. So there we go. So I got the chicken and the steak all ready to go on there. It's gonna melt right into the cheese. And we'll just wait for this to be ready to pull out. Well, it's been 10 minutes, so I'm gonna pull the pizza out now and I'm gonna add the chicken and steak. That almost looks good enough to eat, but I like it crispy, so. Now, cheat meals aren't just a diet thing. They're an off-season thing too. You know, I tell everyone, you don't just want to eat a huge calorie surplus every single day in the off season or you accumulate too much body fat. Most people do anyways, unless you got a crazy metabolism. So in the off season, I eat, you know, really clean. I eat, you know, chicken, steak, potatoes, rice, all the basic bodybuilding foods. And then a couple times a week, I usually try to make it on big days like back or legs or something like that. I'll go out and have whatever I want, you know, 2-3 times a week, depending on where I'm at with my body weight and my training. And those are cheat meals too. I mean, I don't feel like I'm cheating, obviously, because it's part of the plan. But those meals are designed to top up glycogen stores, enhance metabolic capacity, stuff like that. You want your body to think that it can just burn calories freely. You don't just want it to accumulate body fat or slow down. Those are the two things you want to avoid at all costs. Getting too fat or slowing your metabolism down. I hear a lot of guys, especially you thin guys out there that are trying to add weight. I mean, don't even worry, man. You should be eating this stuff a lot more than I do. You know, yeah, have your shakes and your chicken and rice and stuff, but nothing wrong with some pizza too. There you go, we'll do 5 more minutes there. I remember when I was starting out, I used to go train legs on Monday at the gym with a couple of the older guys, and then we'd go to all-you-can-eat pizza. And I did that every single Monday for about 5 years. And I put on a lot of size. I put on 100 pounds in high school. Obviously, I was growing, but you guys don't be afraid to eat, okay? And when you're contest dieting, a lot of people don't diet hard enough to need a cheat meal. Their calories are too high or they're cheating randomly. So their body's just not in a state of need. It's not in a state of super compensation. But when you are actually depleted, you are actually pulled down, you are feeling it in the gym and seeing it in the pictures, then you need to refill your body. There's a couple different ways you can do it. Some people use high carb days or they'll go high carbs for a couple days or whatever. But some people need to have a big calorie bomb. So that's what I like to do for myself. Being a big guy, that works really good for ectomorphs. I'm sort of an ecto-meso genetically, so maybe that's why it works for me. But it's not always pizza. I am a very picky eater and I know what I like. So I have a burger sometimes. Sometimes I go to a steakhouse and have a nice steak dinner. And sometimes I'll have a pizza. So, but there's really only the 3 things that I use. I don't eat stuff like, you know, poutine or things like that. There's a lot of foods that I just don't eat because they're just too gross. There's not enough nutritional value in them. You know, I won't eat a bag of candy on my cheat meal. I'd rather have something with protein and carbs and fats in it, you know, like real food. That's why I added the chicken and steak to this. It's gonna be good when it comes out. Well, let's see how this turned out. Hopefully we got it. Looks perfect. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I'd much rather eat this for a pizza than go to like one of the fast pizza joints, big name pizza joints where you get the real fried crust and there's just lots of gross oil and stuff. You know, I like some fat in my cheat meal, but I also like it to be reasonably healthy. So yeah, there's some processed carbs in here, obviously, but let's see how good I am at cutting a pizza. It's been a while. Right through that steak. Boom. Or how about half for me, half for you? We'll do that. I'm just gonna cut a good slice here. I was never good at finding the middle. There we go. Now remember, these aren't automatic. These meals aren't just automatic. Like, oh, it's Saturday, I get to cheat. If you haven't gotten leaner, you're not making progress, there's something wrong with your diet. You got to get things down. A lot of the top pros have cheat meals. Some of them don't use them. Some coaches don't use them. Some people don't believe in them. the bottom line is you can't stay on the same calories all the time. That's one of the main points to this. So your metabolism will just adjust to it and you won't go anywhere. I find that I'm able to train harder, diet harder, go longer. Mentally, I'm better if I have a couple of cheat meals. 16-week diet, I might only have 8 cheat meals. I might only have 5. It just depends. You got to listen to your body. One of the years where I was in the very best condition of my whole life, I dieted for 16 weeks and I had 12 cheat days. That was a crazy diet, and there's a reason why my body did that. I look back on that, and there's a reason why I was in that state. But the fact was, my body needed that food. It needed that high calorie spike. So get your diet down, get your training down, get serious, and you can have a fucking pizza once in a while. Let's try this out. Three weeks out, I got lines on my glutes. I'm not feeling guilty. Figure it out. Mutant Meals, Big Ron Partlow. I got some eating to do.